together.
It's Blue Land Structure.
You're okay. I know
Okay, everyone, welcome. Just want to remind us at 6:15 tonight, we may have to pause wherever we're at. We have a public hearing on Okra wastewater drinking water grant, I believe. So first meeting I want to call to order is the Lawrenceburg Board of Works for November 7th, 2022. If I could get a roll call, Mr. Fetty.
Yes, board member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board member Tommy Roulette.
Present.
City Attorney Dale Weldon.
Here.
President Kellen Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, I have no announcements for this particular meeting, guys, unless you do.
I have none, Mayor.
All right.
I have none.
Okay, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, first item under new business, I believe we had a bid opening today, Mr. Todd, about 333 Arch Street.
We did, Your Honor, and they were solicited quotes for the demo and also the environmental abatement.
Okay,
The demo bid was two bidders, Howard Excavating and Probst Excavating. Howard's bid was $18,200.
mm-hmm,
Probst $11,950.
okay.
It would be our recommendation in engineering and construction department to go with the low bid.
Okay, any questions?
There's only one bid for the asbestos abatement?
Correct.
My other question is, Mayor, is why are we doing this?
Why are we doing it?
Yeah. I mean, if it's,
We had a court order to do it.
well, why would we have to do it and not the bank who owns it or whoever owns it now?
The bank doesn't own
The bank doesn't own it?
it. No. And so, I mean, it's I guess and that's a fair question. Definitely. I mean, you guys are, and the councilman too here in his honor are, in charge of and leading our code enforcement department like every other department. And the primary purpose of our code enforcement department is to enact through their enforcement of local and state codes, the standards by which we want our property to be in the city of Lawrenceburg. Sometimes that's something small, like mowing your grass. This house at 333 Arch was not small. It was big. There was no question. This was a property that was cited all the way back in 2015 by Carl Fryman. And as you guys kind of know, by dealing with Morgan Hedrick, our code enforcement officer, he does everything possible with any property owner, again, big or small, whatever the infraction is. Hey, informal, let's clean it up. Hey, here's a letter, let's clean it up. Then eventually it'll get to a citation. And then, with this property, there is a mortgage, but it's just a mortgage. The person who owned it passed away. The people who were living in it didn't own it. They were relatives of the person who passed away. So really no one owned it. There was never an estate open or anything of that nature. And the problems that Carl identified ended up being more problems, and eventually we brought in a structural engineer from Land Consultants, I think, Mario?
Jeff Talker.
Jeff Talkers, and his opinion, he had a formal opinion. He went and inspected the site, but his opinion in general was this thing could fall down any second. You can see into the basement from the street level. There's one beam, the main beam in the house is broken on both sides. His opinion was that the only thing holding the house up is a steel beam in the basement that's really not supposed to be structural. The original violations were front porch was ripped off, back porch was ripped off. So when something like that happens, it's just, there's no question. Do we ever want to demo property? No. But if it's a hazard to people, if it's a hazard to neighboring properties, we have no choice. And like the mayor said, we actually have a court order where the judge is telling us we have to demo it. So that's the easy way to look at it, but it is fair for you guys and the public to know what our process is.
How do we go about getting our money back for this?
We get it back. So that's another good question, and that's something we work hard on. We're very fortunate in the city of Lawrenceburg, and I talked to other cities like Aurora, for example, They don't have full-time code enforcement, they don't have full-time city court. Because we do, we're able to kind of fast track and, get in front of a judge that can give us the orders we need and orders with the demo, whether it's, remember 440 Walnut that was falling down, we demoed that. Similar to that project, all of our costs, which include our legal costs, our administrative costs, the cost of demolition, will all be totaled up. They'll be filed as a lien, and that lien will be foreclosed on at a tax sale. It's just like a tax lien. In a tax, it looks exactly like a tax sale, treated like a tax sale, except for with a tax sale, there's a 1-year period of redemption where the person who owns the taxes can pay it. So if you bid on a house at a tax sale, you don't get it for a year. You gotta wait a full year, and then they can pay you back what you paid plus 10%, Justin knows.
Yeah. Dell, does that become senior to the primary lien that was on it with the mortgage? It does
Yeah, my
become senior.
question, yes.
Okay.
And that's why it's so important, because just like a tax lien, it kills all the other liens, including a mortgage. So we get to get our money first, and for example, with 440 Walnut, we got our money, no one else got any money, we got all of our money back, no one else got any money, like banks and things like this. And also, you don't have to wait for the 1-year period of redemption. As soon as Andy Lowmiller bought it at the tax sale, we got a check from the county the next week. So, you know, it's kind of, it's part of a bigger initiative to make sure that, you know, everyone's property rights come first, don't get me wrong, and everyone's enjoyment of their houses and land, however they want it to look, however they want to enjoy living in Lawrenceburg. There's no question that always comes first, but there's a minimal standard. And so that's what kind of Morgan and his team do on the street level, is say, well, here's just the minimal standard. And because of you guys in council and what you've always made clear, you know, our job is to help people when we can. You know, if someone just really can't keep their property up to snuff, we help them. You know, Carl Fryman always did a great job doing that. Morgan always does a great job doing that. Mario does a great job. I've had Mario go up and someone had a leak up on Ludlow Hill. Their laundry machine was leaking out into their backyard. And we thought it was like a chemical spill or something of that nature. And, you know, it's all helping. And just sometimes, rarely, the property has to come down, and that's what we have here.
Okay, so help me better understand this. So we, the city, will go in there and raise this property.
Yes, sir.
And once we do that, we will be up here as far as being reimbursed for what we have in it.
Yes, sir.
And that may be as far as us obtaining the property for sale.
Yeah, well, it'll be sold, because no one really has it, is the kind of
Okay.
way it sits now. So it'll be sold at a tax sale, and it'll look like a tax sale, but it's
As
a
you stated.
lien foreclosure. Someone will buy it, you know, like a Low Miller or anybody. The neighbor could buy it if he wanted to, or she wanted to. Then they own it for whatever we have in it, free and clear. All the other liens go away, so they get the benefit that now they get this lot free and clear. It extinguishes all the other liens. We get our money back. A blighted property that was falling down is gone. We have a nice new lot someone can build a nice new house on.
You're
So
saying
it's-
all the other liens are extinguished
That's
when we
right.
go through this process. So we're not, it's not our lien and have to worry about other liens
Right,
coming
that
in.
was
It's only
one of
our
my
lien.
biggest concerns.
So we're looking at about 18.5. So there's a really good shot, just similar to the Walnut Street property, because it was a valuable lot. You know, it sold and we were able to recoup, was it 100% of our money that we had invested?
Yeah, we got all of it.
So we got a pretty good shot even on this one with this particular situation, because it's 18.5, it's sitting on a double lot.
Well, it'd be 18.5 plus engineering service for them to go in and look at it,
What
plus
they all
lawyer
stated
fees.
earlier.
You add all this, all the expenses in there.
So it's gonna be more than
20.
that.
Yeah.
I'd say it's 20, you know, and someone that's a really good lot that's been done really well, you know, when Mario does something that's done perfectly, then it's an opportunity to, like Justin said, build one house, split it, build two houses. So really is a win-win-win from all around.
But this process could take up to a year.
No, this will take not as long, because we don't have to wait for the 1 year.
We do not have to wait.
Yeah, right. The tax sale, you gotta get to tax sale, someone buys it, then you gotta wait 1 full calendar year from that day till you get the deed, because they have 1 year to redeem the taxes.
So once it's
They don't have that here.
sold at tax sale, we can relinquish it at that point.
Yep.
Say we're not gonna buy it back for that plus 10%. We don't want it back.
Yep,
Take it
they
back.
just-
We can
they-
sign it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They pay us, they get the deed. It's the other liens are extinguished, they're free and clear, and everyone goes on.
Is this a similar process by which we may go in the future as well? If this comes up again in the future, is this the process that we can look forward to?
Yep, anytime this is necessary, we follow this exact process.
Now, the only other question I have, we passed the unsafe ordinance, building ordinance in, I think it was August. Will that money come from there to do this job?
Yes.
Okay.
And if, because I think by state statute, you have to have 25,000.
Well, all depends on when this project happens. If it happens this year, we have we'll have to do an initial
It wasn't
appropriation
appropriated, but
Okay.
we can,
from that fund.
But that was one of the reasons we passed said ordinance, to get something like this into place.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Okay.
And we've passed, if you know, we've passed several smaller ordinances along the way, naming a building department, naming a building commissioner, just making our language kind of match up to whatever the state statute happens to be, so that we can have this process and follow it the same every time.
Have we been in contact with the mortgage company at all in regards to this? I mean,
We have, we had to notice everyone, and so we just kind of overdid it, just noticed everyone who could even possibly have a lien, plus put it in the paper just to make sure, hey, anyone who has an interest in this property, because we wanted them to have the opportunity, we had to come to the hearing if they wanted to. If the mortgage company wanted to, they could have come to the hearing and said, don't tear this down, or, hey, we'll pay whatever and we'll fix it. You know, the bank could have done that, and they didn't, which is typical. And it's not, I mean, I won't name the bank, but I can tell you it's not like UCB or Friendship or something like that. It's a national bank. There's been several mortgages and things of that nature. And like I said, the owner passed away without any kind of estate, so really no one owns it at this point.
All right.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm not real familiar with these sheriff loans, but isn't it like a bidding
Yep.
per se thing?
Yep,
So what if
exactly.
they only bid $5,000? It goes for $5,000.
there's a minimum.
No.
There
Our
is a
min-
minimum,
Yes, exactly.
and is it the 18
Yep, well, it's everything.
Whatever what you have in it.
we have in it? Okay.
So it'll be, and Mark's working with Morgan and Doug in my office to develop a standard administrative cost. So we'll have a flat cost plus our actual cost, and then that'll give us our number every time. And we set up the fund, so it's all part of that process. But yeah, they can't bid less. They have to bid what.
So we're not really losing any money then.
Well, exactly, and you know, it's about, you know, what, if someone pays 22.5 or something for this lot, that's probably a fair price. I mean, Justin knows better than me, but that's probably a pretty fair price, and so they get a good lot for a fair price, we get our money back.
So what if they don't bid? What happens if they don't bid? Then where are we going from there?
I would say we demo it and sell it ourselves, but that would be up to you guys. I mean, we
Okay.
could demo it and add it to, give it to redevelopment, they could add it to their inventory of
Yeah,
lots.
okay.
We could do anything you want.
So we would just allow redevelopment to recoup what they could at that point?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because we could, if no one bid on it, we can bid on it with the money we're owed.
Right.
Then we don't pay anything, but we would get it with all the other liens extinguished.
I mean, because there is a chance, and this one's probably pretty close to a wash, but there's a chance we could have more invested in it than it's worth. That's, you know,
Yeah.
at many given, you know, circumstances.
And that's the chance we take when we try to get rid of blighted properties.
Yeah, I mean,
Somewhat.
that's one way to look at it. I mean, you know, of course, we always hope to get our money back. That's
Right.
our duty, but we also have a secondary duty where we couldn't just have left that house.
Well, there's
standing
public
really
safety
under-
issue.
No, I
when it
totally
gets
understand that.
Yeah, when it gets that bad, and like I said, that's rare, but if that happens, you know, we owe it to everyone to just
There-
do it. And
There are other properties that are in this or worse condition.
I agree, and it's a, like I said, Mr. Very good question. It's more than a fair question, and for you guys to all the city and continue to do that, because I can tell you, Morgan, Doug in my office, Judge Johns, whomever it is that's in the process, you know, they welcome the scrutiny. They want to be held to a standard where we do what we have to do, not what we want to do. And we protect everyone's individuality and personal property rights first. But then again, we have that minimum standard, and that's good for everyone. You know, when you look at a piece of property, you have to think, okay, what's good for the owner, but then what's good for the neighbors as well is part of the calculus.
Any other questions?
I have none.
Yeah, Mario.
I had a couple of questions, but do you want to go ahead and do your hearing?
We got a minute.
Okay, and this is for Mark. Should we go ahead and do a contract with the potential contractors and probably encumber? This is probably gonna be next year before they finish the project up.
You think it'll be next year before they finish?
Well, I mean, you got holidays coming in. We've
Yeah,
got-
but according to this, it says, let me see, I guess the asbestos abatement will be done December 5th through the 7th.
Correct. I mean, it's gonna be
Demolition
close.
to be completed approximately 10 days after the asbestos abatement.
Once
That should be
again,
before the,
pretty close. If we have a week of bad weather, icing, or whatever else, it's,
I think it's gonna be close enough where we're probably gonna have to, whatever the amount is, do the contract to get it going, and whatever the amount is, we'll probably have to appropriate it, because we got one more coming before the end of the year.
yeah, we do, we've got another.
Okay. I just want to be able to,
Yep.
with good faith, to sign them up for it.
Yep.
Okay. All right, at this time, you got another question? Go ahead.
Well, I need to go ahead and finish the environmental acceptance.
Well, let's hold off. We're gonna do the thing. Because I'm gonna take in 2 votes anyway. So anyway, we'll pause now for the public hearing on the Okra wastewater drinking water grant. And what's this all for?
Can I borrow your pen?
This is a water line on US 50, correct?
Yes.
No.
It's not?
It is. So this grant is to,
Not for the storm sewer.
No.
No, it's to replace some water
Water line.
mains that, along 50, that are in really bad shape, and they're
Okay.
down really deep, and they're hard to get to.
Yeah.
So basically what is proposed is that there would be replacement mains put at it, so they could be accessible for maintenance, and the other ones will be abandoned. And it's the lines that kind of connect Aurora and Lawrenceburg for emergency purposes. And also, and the thing, this, as you guys, I think a lot of you guys are familiar with these Okra projects, they're very competitive, and what their concern is that it's supposed to benefit residents. So we are working really hard to build a case on how it impacts residents. And so we've looked at traffic counts and the fact that a lot of people use 50 to get medical care, that emergency services use it, and all that. So we are working hard to build a case in a grant that's competitive, and I'm saying that because we really need help from everybody to help us document that. There are people, if there are residents that would be willing to write a letter. I'm happy to work with people on putting their thoughts on paper, because sometimes people aren't really comfortable if you ask them to write a letter, but I can talk to people and, work with them on that. Billy, do you have anything to add on that,
Yeah.
just,
So Mayor, where the confusion may come in, I know there's a couple different things going on in that area. This is a second part of the process of this Okra grant. So we did have an open public meeting a while back before we submitted the application. And we've just submitted the application, and our proposal is due, when is that due?
yeah, it's a two-stage thing. So actually, it's the other way around. We submitted a proposal.
Okay.
We had the first hearing in September, and I think you were ill that day. Yeah. So we're required to hold 2 public hearings, because that's another big thing, is that Okra values the whole process of getting the public engaged and getting public input. So this is the second public hearing, which is required. We've tried to do some other things to get public input. There was a survey that went out with utility bills, and then it's online. I think it's on the website. And
we've been getting
It's-
really good response with that.
Yeah. So people are concerned about the safety. And, you know, I know it's like a hazard for a lot of people if something goes wrong the way it is now. And I mean, you know, Billy knows the condition of the lines, and it's just something, it's something that has to be done. Am I right in saying that?
And this is the part of the water line from like the sewer plant down to Little Caesars.
Okay.
That all of that is going to need to be replaced due to the cost of the project and as part of the capital plan. As part of the project, due to the cost, we've separated it out into phases. And so this Okra grant that we're seeking is part of phase one of that project.
Okay.
We did receive something also in our last utility bill pertaining this too.
Yes, yes. So please, you know, fill that out, encourage people to fill that out and get that back, because that all will help us make our case.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments? This application's due December 23rd. I hope to get it in before then, because I don't really want to be up, you know, the day before Christmas Eve working on this.
We
so-
hope you do too.
We are taking surveys until December the 8th. And any written support letters.
Right, and again, I'm happy to work with people on putting their thoughts together on paper if they're more comfortable. One other thing, it is required that, and this is actually council, and I can leave this if I need to, but a resolution needs to be passed that authorizes the submission of the application and commits the local match. And this is just a boilerplate resolution that we use the same one every time you guys apply for an Okra grant. The only thing that really changes is the date, the name of the project, and the budget amounts. So I don't.
You just need in the council meeting a resolution to authorize. the
Yes,
submission
in
of the
fact, I
application.
can leave this with you guys, and that will need to be signed by both you, Mayor, and the treasurer. So, you know, again, that's like the boilerplate thing.
But the local match would be coming from utilities.
That was my question. Is this a utility?
It's a utility project. In the public hearing, we said City of Lawrenceburg, so in this, you'll notice I said City of Lawrenceburg / utility funds, just to make sure that, you know, it flowed.
Okay. So do I need to sign it, or would Billy?
Actually, it needs to be signed by you and Mark.
But this is for the match, it says.
And it's authorizing the submission of the application.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, so it's doing two things.
okay. I just don't want to be on the hook for the match.
When do you need to
You
have,
guys,
when,
you know, so your council meeting's following all of these, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you can like
Yeah, we can do it.
discuss that at the
Okay.
council meeting.
All right.
Anyone else? Comments, questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
No other question? I'll close the public hearing portion of the Okra wastewater, or water, drinking water grant program? Okay. All right, so what I'd like to do, though, is take this into two bids here. We'll reopen the Board of Works meeting. I'd entertain a motion to accept Probst Excavating at the cost of $11,950 at the recommendation of the engineering department for the demolition of 333 Arch Street.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have the asbestos abatement from the Environmental Demolition Group at a cost of $6,500 for 333 Arch Street. Entertain a motion to approve.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for getting that taken care of, Mario. The detective MOU, I'm asking to table this for this meeting today, so could I get a motion to table the detective MOU?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Also, we're tabling the EMT/paramedic recommendation for tonight. If I could get a motion to table that.
I'll make it motion, Mayor.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Don't be surprised, we may have to have a meeting next week to get on that one, so. Okay, next thing I have is the bid from the fire department watercraft.
Yes, Mayor, we, as everybody's aware of, we applied for the FEMA grant. We did get awarded that, so we had to put the boat out for bid. We had 4 inquiries into the bidding, and we only received 1 bid.
Okay.
So today we received a bid from William E. Munson Company for $463,670. And as far as FEMA, will take care of $347,752.50, just for your information.
That was what company, Chief?
William E. Munson Company, Munson Boats.
Munson, okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So, obviously, you're asking for a,
Can we move
Approval.
forward? Go ahead and move forward
with them?
Yes.
Any questions?
We did review the bid, and it's all in place. Their financials in place. Dell and Mark accompanied us when we opened it today. So
Oh, good, okay.
everything's noted and
Okay,
on track.
well, good. How long does it take to get a boat like that built?
18 months.
Ouch.
Well, it's supply chain still.
Yeah. They can't get a motor.
Well, that might be. I mean, actually, we spec the most readily.
They can't get the chip for the motor.
Yes.
Hope they don't want to.
By the time you get it, you won't be able to get diesel, so.
Hope they don't want to float it up Mississippi.
Yeah, can't get through there either. Any questions, guys? I'm sorry.
It's going downhill quick.
Yeah.
I have no questions, Mayor.
All right, well, then I entertain a motion to accept the bid for the Lawrenceburg Fire Department watercraft from William E. Munson for a price of $463,670.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Pat, thanks for his work on this as
Oh,
well.
absolutely.
Brent,
Thank you.
Real quick, everybody should have a copy of my report. I laid
Yes,
it out.
yes.
Yep.
So,
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to say I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
see you're in good health there, Johnny, after
Hey, I
your
appreciate
little
it.
accident.
I appreciate everybody's outreach. I did a little interview the other day just on the radio, how appreciative I've been of all this. I mean, unfortunate circumstances, but we're back back on the road. I just got to go check up once a month. So,
Good for you.
no.
Great.
All right, under old business, I have one. We had been trying to get bidders for the Newtown Park fountain for quite some time.
Long time.
Mario, you can probably talk more to this than I can. We got 1 bid. We solicited a number of folks that didn't even want to touch it. They didn't want to touch the plumbing piece of it. This company is called Fountain Specialist out of Milford, Ohio. You'll see in front of you, the quote is for $25,200. That is actually, they will be doing all new plumbing lines, any new welds.
They're actually gonna take it apart, disassemble it.
Correct.
Take it to their shop,
Is that what they're gonna do it off-site?
yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah, questions, guys?
Going back to the wells, Mayor, I highlighted that. It says, any wells that may need to be provided will be shown to the city with a quote for approval. Does that mean that this could be additional Or is-
It could,
Okay,
it could be,
that's
could
where I-
be fractures underneath the resin.
Right,
that
which
they
you
can't
won't,
see it.
unforeseen, correct, okay,
Yeah, it's for any for unforeseen.
gotcha, okay. And it sounds like maybe we went through the right process, you went out and tried to obtain more than one quote.
We went
No
to-
one wants to quote on it?
We went to plumbers, we went to other fountain folks. As Donnie was saying, supply chain and work chain right now is, these folks here, we started in, I think, February. They stopped to look at it in June or July, and we just received this year in the last,
Yeah, on the 12th,
yeah.
October.
Yeah, and we're, with every project, we're soliciting quotes, and our job is only solicit them, and if we only get one response, as long as we've solicited multiple, we've fulfilled our duty.
Any questions regarding this?
I have none.
I have none. I'll just be glad to get it done.
Well, then I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid from Fountain Specialist Incorporated, $25,200 for the Newtown Park Fountain.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mayor, if I could
Motion carries.
Sign that copy you have.
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't look at it yet.
Should we do this under old business council? And I'll read it, just read the whole thing. We can knock it out.
Oh, under council?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you.
All right.
Mayor?
Any other old business?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Give you an update on, Deputy Chief Myers had, talked to Dell after our bid opening today in regards to the aerial ladder we had,
Yeah.
on auction.
Sure.
Well, things haven't really panned out on that. I think the top, number we got was 40,000, and we're not gonna let it go for that. So,
Parted out.
So, Chief Myers, questioned Dale on, whether or not we could go to a brokerage site. And that's what I'm here tonight, is if we can try a brokerage site, with this truck to where we would set the number, and then they would get a percentage of that. Like if we set 225,000, we would have to pay 5% to the brokerage company. He got those numbers today, Dale.
Did he?
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what Assistant Chief Myers and I talked about today was this process. The generic process is always the auction, but this process will, if we go forward, which I think we can if you want to, the ultimate conclusion will be that we're transferring our fire apparatus to another municipality. And you guys remember, whether you've been here in person or whether it was last term, when we transfer a fire truck, and we did one, Tony, in our first administration, we can do that from municipality to municipality for $1 when you're transferring.
Did that to Aurora.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I
exactly.
do remember that, yes.
So using that philosophy and using the standards that the state requires, which is, not just to sell it, to have some kind of vetting where you're getting multiple bids to get your best price. We're kind of doing both, and we could look at, and once we get back that final number, and Assistant Chief Myers thought we could list for 190 based on what he's seen. So let's say, knock on fake wood, we get 190 for it versus 40, plus we've gone through the process, plus we've gone through 2 processes, plus you could look at it as municipality to municipality where there is no dollar requirement. I think being the best stewards of the citizens' money and resources, I think this is a good way to go. It fits with 2 different aspects of disposing of property, so it's legal, it's okay to do it that way, and obviously if we get more money back for the citizens, we're doing our job.
It would be a little more than that.
More than 190? That's good.
Didn't you hear me today when he said it? Or you might not have been.
He was excited
I
about
spun around that chair. I said 190.
We're better than 40.
Good man, Johnny.
Yeah, may I ask a question on this?
Yes.
Is there any urgency in regards to selling this? I mean, I mean, then,
It's not eating anything.
I mean, we're talking about an implement that's to buy or replace is over $1 million. You know,
Right.
I just wonder if at some time within, even if it's the next couple of years, we've been storing it for years now, but is there if there's no urgency to sell it right away, I mean, I hate to give something like that away for $200,000. I mean,
Well-
you know, or 225, you know, when,
We're not sure, that's not a good price.
well, I mean, based on that piece of equipment and the maintenance that's been done on, the certifications that they go with that piece of, I mean, maybe it's not, but, you know, it just seems like when you're talking about
The big thought behind all this was this thing is 25 plus years old, and when it was bought, there was only 3 in the area. Now they're flooded with aerial apparatus, and we still have one. It just sets. So, you know, we've done cylinder repair due to, you know, what I would say dry rotted seals and all that. So right now, I mean, it is a wonderful piece of equipment. It passed its certification. You know, I just feel like it's probably now's the time to try to get our max out of it until we get to that point there, you know, we're just junking it. So, I mean, it's up to you all. You know, you give me direction. It's not eating anything except for, you know, the ladder testing, the hose testing and all, pump testing, but that's.
Well, let me ask you a question. This brokerage firm, is this what they specialize in?
Yeah.
Can they come down and give us a thought of what
Price
they
opinion?
think it's worth?
They're in North Carolina. I mean, but they can.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
was gonna say
we've researched it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on this company's Brindley Mountain, if you want to look it up. You know, Pat just told me the other day he found one on there for I think $275. You know, it was almost apples to apples. But the thing is, most of their stuff, if you go with a 97, most of their stuff has 75,000 miles on it. You know, I can't. Well, what is that? 5,500, I think, is what we got on that. You know, I mean, those aren't apples to apples, but you know, there are some that are, and they're bringing a pretty decent price.
Well, then that's more of a reason for Justin's thought process is hold out, because if we got 5,500 miles on a 97, and you're saying that some 97s are
Right.
listed with 75,000 miles on it for 275, we may have a $350,000 piece of equipment.
Well, I'd be pretty confident that they would do a opinion of price for us before we signed any agreement.
Oh,
You know, to kind of give us an idea. My only concern
And in
is
them pictures.
if we sign an
Right.
exclusive listing
Documentation.
agreement with them, then we're signing, unless there's some reserve price that we come to an
No,
agreement with them.
we set let me look at this real quick.
I wouldn't want to sign an exclusive listing agreement with them and not have a reserve that it had to meet, and then they say, hey, well, we only got a bid of 160,000, and, you know.
Well, I thought we had a set number you were gonna go by anyway.
Right, 250, I believe. We are the point of contact as well as we negotiate the price with the buyer. This is just a text Pat told me that and then we pay the commission. So we set the price and then negotiate.
Well, I think you set the price high, you can always come down.
I agree,
Yeah.
Go from there, but
I agree.
I mean, on the other hand, if there's continue to be seals we have to replace because of dry rot and maintenance, it's just
Well-
bleeding a little bit, you know, sitting there as well. So, I mean, there's both,
Insurance,
yeah,
wheels will dry rot if you don't get.
yeah. I mean,
It's got new tires
I
right
was
now.
gonna say, you just put a set of tires on it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, in the next 2 weeks, Assistant Chief Myers and Chief Tremaine could get a better number, come back and say, we're thinking about a $300,000 reserve. Would you guys be comfortable with that?
Let's do that, chief.
Okay.
Is that good with everybody?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm good with that.
That way we can, we'll take some action on it in 2 weeks and.
Okay.
I mean, if anybody's listening, I mean, I know there's not that many people listening, but I mean, that's an amazing piece of equipment.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
with that low of miles, you know,
Yep.
wish we could get those kind of deals.
Yeah. All it is it's just old. It's just not
That's-
in age.
Right.
Vintage.
Okay. Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
Any other old business for Board of Works?
I have none.
If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it, Mayor.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd.
Okay, next up, I'd like to bring to order the City of Lawrenceburg Utility Board meeting for November 7th, 2022. Can I get a roll call, Mr. Fetty?
Board member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board member Justin Noppert.
Sir.
Board member Tommy Rolette.
Present.
Board member Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Board member Brett Bondurant.
Yes, sir.
We got Utility Director Billy Kennett.
Here.
City Attorney Dale Weldon. President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay. Any announcements there, Mr. Kennett?
Yes, sir. I have two announcements with regards to the Line Workers Rodeo that we hosted for IMEA. Just want to let you all know that we totaled up our expenses. We bought the meat and some of the supplies and some of the food. The total that we spent on that rodeo was $1,063.01. Wow. So that's for the success and the notoriety we had. We're very proud of that. So, you know,
Those guys spent a lot more than that in the city, I'll tell you that.
yeah, we made a promise to you that we would keep the expenses down, and just want to let you know that's exactly
Appreciate
what
it.
we did. So we're very fortunate for that. The other announcement with regard to the mutual aid that we did at Smyrna Beach, Florida, we invoiced Smyrna Beach for $40,706.75. And that covers all of our labor, our fuel, truck expense, admin, that's everything totaled, and that has been invoiced. It will take some time for us to get payment on that, but the process is pretty fast. It's a set process that FEMA has in place, and so that invoice has been sent out.
How much did you say that was for?
$40,706.75. That's all I have in announcements.
Was there any feedback from the crew that went down there?
Yeah, we've had tremendous feedback. There was shortly after they came back from this, we had the IMEA annual meeting, and so there was a lot of discussions about mutual aid and helping out down at Smyrna Beach, and you know, just it's a tremendous experience when you're able to go in and help people in need like that. You know, it's really very fun because you have people that are sitting there without power, but yet they're bringing you drinks and they're bringing you food and wanting to know what they can do to help you, and they're just extremely appreciative of you being there to help them out. So it's a very humbling experience, and you know, the guys that went down there, they definitely come back with their hearts full and was feeling good about life. So
Good.
It was a great experience.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
I'm sure in the minutes of, 16-hour work days, it may not have felt that same, but.
Yeah.
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 No other announcements?
That's it.
All right, entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any new business, Mr. Kennett?
No, sir. This is, just to preclude this, we are very busy and we're very fortunate with everything that's going on, but we didn't have anything to bring in front of you as far as new business or old business this month.
Not spending any money.
No, right. Well,
Any updates on the meters or anything
Yeah, I
like
was
that
gonna
yet?
say, no updates on GIS or meters or?
well, I can tell you, whatever you want to know. As far as the AMI metering, we did have Tantalus in here last week or 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And they did the training, the official training and the optimization. We did a lot of work leading into that. That system is almost working perfect. So it's just a fantastic tool. We just did some work for the school, and we was able to go in and troubleshoot and see exactly what was going on and help them out with troubleshooting some things over there. And without that data, without that meter, we wouldn't have been able to see a lot of the stuff that we're seeing. So it's tremendously helpful. We had outages with high winds on Saturday. As soon as the outages occurred, I got a text and an email on my phone. Immediately got with the crew, and we figured out what was going on, and we had outages on Wilson Creek coming down through there. The response time is just quicker, it's better. We go into the field now knowing what to expect versus having to go look for it. It's just a tremendous tool. The mapping, the goal for that was to have all the field points surveyed by the time the snow flies. So hopefully we still have another month and a half. They're making great progress on that. And so once they have everything surveyed, then over the winter, they'll be working on the software and making it nice and pretty and usable. But making excellent progress on that as well.
We had a couple of spots where the tantalus system wasn't working when the foliage came out. Did we get that ironed out?
Yeah, that's part of what we did. They have what's called repeaters. And so we put them in strategic locations to try to get that signal out. Like down in Rainbow, there was one place down there, and so what we do is we put a repeater up, we see if it works. If it doesn't, we move it to another location until we can get those signals.
So we now have that in place.
Yeah, there's still 2 meters that will not read. They're down past the FOP lodge, so we're having a hard time getting that signal out of there just because there's low density along Wilson Creek as far as electric meters in that area. We've replaced all of the electric meters that we can, and what happens is these electric meters look for those signals,
Right.
and they just can't, for whatever reason, get that. So we're looking at, we'll need to order some more repeaters. They're not that expensive. They're like $400 each, and it will help us get those signals out of those trouble areas. But that's part of that tantalus optimization, is looking at how's the system doing and what can we do, and it's working great.
Good deal. Keep on moving on.
Yep.
I don't know if any of you other gentlemen sat in on any at the conference, the seminars that they had, but sounds like there's a lot of money coming down through the pipeline for renewable generation and storage that's coming from government. So, I mean, it might be a conversation worth kind of talking through with IMPA and, what that might look like if that's something that's feasible for us to pursue just because of the additional funding that's coming or is in place to take advantage of.
And
So
that brings up a good point as well. I didn't think about it until you mentioned solar, but the first solar system has been put in on our system. We inspected it last week and gave the approval for them to interconnect into our system. So that solar system is up and running. IMPA is also looking at the possibility of a solar, a big industrial type, one of their solar fields in our territory. We're in the preliminary talking stages, but IMPA's goal is to have a solar field in each one of the municipalities. And they have several in place already, but they're actively seeking one here in Lawrenceburg.
interesting.
It's a long process, it takes time, but they are in the initial phases of that right now.
Do you know how many watts that system up on the hill is going to produce, the one on Pribble? That one just,
It was a 22 kW
22
system,
kW.
so fairly large for a
Yeah.
residential
Wow.
That's all, yeah. Yeah, almost 100 amps, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
the
significant.
metering is all in place, and they have the agreement that y'all passed with IMPA, where IMPA is reading the electric. It's a bi-directional meter, so they can see what's being used and what's being supplied onto our system. IMPA reads that meter and then cuts the customer a check each month for whatever they're providing based on the rate that IMPA agrees.
And then whatever they use, it's gonna offset their cost associated with us as well.
No, it's billed separately. So whatever they use, we bill like we normally would, and then whatever they put back on our system, IMPA pays them.
Right, but they use their energy first before they use our energy, right? It comes from their
Yes.
system?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever we supplement their
Yeah.
energy with, that
Right.
they pay us, right? Gotcha.
Anything else? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd like to open up the City of Lawrenceburg Council meeting for November 7th, 2022. All rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Okay. Another roll call, Mr. Fetty.
All right, Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Justin Knopf.
Sir.
Councilperson Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Councilperson Brett Bondurant.
Yes, sir.
We got City Attorney Dale Wilton.
Here.
Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs, downtown area, Mr. Abbott.
Everything's good.
Streets, alleys, and curbs, Ludlow Hill area, Mr. Fryman.
Oh, good, sir. Thank you.
Finance Department, Mr. Bondurant.
Nothing to report, Mayor.
Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Noppert.
Nothing on parks, but on streets, alleys, and curbs, do they take up the temporary speed bumps for the winter?
I don't think they've taken them up yet.
I mean,
Oh, they will.
Up before the plows come?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, they will.
So I know that's one that was proven pretty effective on Cook Lane there is really the neighbors have commented that it has drastically slowed people down because that was a thoroughfare between Tate and Center one way that people would just zip through there and it is
Slowed them down?
really, it just nixed it. So it's been, the neighbors have commented it's been a lot better. I mean, it almost tears my axle off when I drive across it, you know.
One thing I will mention, I got a call from St. Lawrence School. So we're, Mario and I, and we're going to go down, and Mike Abden are going to go down and meet with their folks about how we can create a little safer environment out here on Walnut Street. Their buses.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to go talk to that. I'll let you guys know what comes out of that. You know, if we have any, obligation to it or whatever. But yeah, I'm glad they called because that obviously, I mean, if you're not living it every day down there, when I go by, it is extremely crazy and crowded.
It is.
I even wonder if one of those center-mounted crosswalk pedestrians.
There's going to be a bunch of ideas.
Something's calming effect, and I mean even the speed humps on Short Street, in between the St. Lawrence parking lot and Central, they're there and they help, but those kids get out at 3:40 and there's the traffic coming out from the pickup and the other kids walking. It's mayhem and people U-turn. I mean it's pretty scary. I mean so.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes one person in a hurry that's not paying attention. That's all it takes, and that's what's.
You're exactly right.
Did they always do that? They never picked up in the back, did they?
They have for a few years.
Yeah, they have. It has been
It's been a few
ever
years.
since my kids have been. Yeah, so it's been at least 4 or 5 years.
It's just it's not ideal to have that much activity in that.
In one area.
There's just
like
there's not enough room in the front. There's so many people to pick their kids up.
Yeah.
That they line up all the way to. They're all the way to William Street.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the alley.
Oh, yeah.
Between Short and.
It's crazy. I think In fact, I think there's more people picking their kids up from school than there is kids riding buses.
I was gonna say the
Oh,
same,
yeah,
Larry.
I would say there absolutely is.
Yes.
I mean, and busing in this, state, it's sort of it's a non-necessity. I mean, it's not funded by the state. It's, it's per corporation. You don't have to provide busing.
We should probably grab Mr. Todd when he was here, but is there any update on the bump outs at Tate and
Yes.
Walnut?
Yeah, we were just going over that proposal this morning, and we got the engineered estimate back on, are you talking about it, but
Walnut and Tate?
but all 4 crosswalks where we were having the pavers done and such. We got the engineered estimate back, but we're reviewing it, so I don't want to share it yet. But because we'd already approved the engineering piece of it, so that was part of the engineering piece, to come back with an engineered estimate for it to go out to bid.
Okay.
So we're reviewing that. In fact, we got a call set up with HWC, who did the engineering, just to make sure we got everything that we need in that.
Is that bid
before we go out
documents
to bid.
including drawings?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got drawings.
Was Tremaine involved in that conversation at all? Chief Tremaine?
No.
Just that's the thoroughfare also for the fire truck. And, I know that we want to narrow that area, but at the same time, they also have a, 50-foot fire truck that makes that's their way out on the
Right.
50. So,
Yep.
if a car's sitting here and it's really narrow.
Mario mentioned that.
And it's, he did. Okay, good.
So I'm sure that it's been talked with Mario,
Yeah.
John, with Chief, but Chief wasn't in our meeting today.
Yeah.
or anything,
I'll look forward to that project that's another thing, because my
Yeah.
kids walk home from school. So,
Absolutely.
that is there's been a couple times they've almost been hit in groups of 3.
but Walnut Street is a wide street. I
Yes,
mean,
with that area, yes.
it really is. But anyway, so it's going forward. Thanks for asking about that. But we'll get you the stuff as soon as we get.
Will that be a 2023 project more than likely?
Oh, yeah. Well, we hope to have it bid out yet this year.
Right, but I mean, with,
Probably won't.
well, yeah, it'd be kind of,
And that would be the first part of the project, is what we're telling them. Anybody that would bid, Tate Street would be the first part.
Yep.
Okay,
thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Fire Department, Mr. Rolette.
Have no report, Mayor.
All righty. Just a couple of announcements. Don't forget, we got an executive session at 11 o'clock Thursday morning, right here. And remind everybody to vote tomorrow.
And they're done that.
Yeah. I didn't this year. I'm voting on election day this year. Or maybe 2
Something
days
special
after.
about showing up at the polls.
So, yeah,
It is, but it's something nice to be able to go to that courthouse and vote too.
that's right.
That's generally what I do.
Hey, as long as you
I
vote.
vote.
You vote.
I wear my
Got
sticker
that.
proudly.
That's right.
But I do.
All right.
Days on end, so it comes off.
There you go, like 2 hours later. Okay, I'll enter a motion, or hear a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business, done in Board of Works. We've got a resolution here authorizing application submission and local match commitment. Mr. Weldon, you want to take care of that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Please, the Common Council for City of Lawrenceburg. This is a resolution that was discussed by Susan at CRPC. I'll read its resolution authorizing application submission and local match commitment. Resolution of the City Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, authorizing the submittal of the wastewater drinking water improvement program application to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs and addressing related matters. Whereas City Council of the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana recognizes the need to stimulate growth and to maintain a sound economy within its corporate limits, and whereas the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended, authorizes the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs to provide grants to local units of government to meet the housing, community development needs of low and moderate income persons, and whereas the City of Lawrenceburg, Indiana has conducted or will conduct public hearings prior to the submission of an application to the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, said public hearings to assess the housing, public facilities, and economic needs of its low and moderate income residents. Now therefore, let it be resolved by the City Council of Lawrenceburg, Indiana, that the mayor is authorized to prepare and submit an application for grant funding to address Dowdy Road stormwater improvements and execute and administer a resultant grant, including requisite grant administration and project management contracts and agreements pursuant to the regular.
Dowdy Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why does it say
Let's
Dowdy
just
Road?
do it. Let's just do it over. Am I not?
No, this one's short and sweet. I don't think you're reading the right one.
Well, that's the one she gave me. Is that the one?
I didn't get a chance to read it. No, I did not.
It says Dowdy Road.
Yeah, it does.
Let's just do
So
it over.
we-
We'll just do
It
it.
says Dowdy Road.
We'll just do it the next one. I mean,
Yeah, I
it's
would
only a
rather-
I'd rather do that than rush through it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
We-
Susan.
It's not gonna hurt anything. We've already had the
Oh,
public,
we just seen this tonight.
right, and we've had the public hearing as well, the second
I
public
hope
hearing.
that's not submitted under Dowdy Road too, you know, that would be a,
That would be a good question to ask.
I'll run that down with them, and I will type out a new one that's corrected and get it to you guys in the packets.
Yeah, because that's the US
maybe
50.
Eads Parkway, yeah.
Yeah, East
she might have
Parkway.
just left some of the language from the last one.
Yeah, this isn't right.
Yeah,
I'll fix it.
Good, okay.
please.
We
All right.
tried, Susan. We
Forget
tried.
we even said that.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Fetty, you got a transfer resolution?
Now, is yours right?
This is right.
This one
This
is
perfect.
correct. This will be resolution 3-2022. 3-2022, and this resolution is to transfer the funding from rainy day to the NR redevelopment fund. Once again, the Liberty Theater, this has to do with the Liberty Theater. It is a redevelopment project, and basically, I think they're under contract. So since the redevelopment boards approves all the claims through that, and once again, this money was already budgeted in the 2023 budget. So it's best to have this transfer, this resolution transfer of this $2 million over into the redevelopment fund. Once again, it says in there it's for the Liberty project, and upon the completion, anything that's left will be converted back to rainy day.
Absolutely. Questions? If no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution number 3-2022.
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
As long as it redevelopment knows these are restricted funds.
Keep an eye on 'em.
You just approve it.
Gotcha.
Anybody here on
Do our due
redevelopment?
diligence there.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Lanny?
Well,
We will do our due
I
diligence.
think it's a great,
Yeah. All right,
great job.
we have no other new business, nor do I have any old business for tonight. Anybody, got anything else before we go comment?
I'm tired from reading that fast.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, Dale. That was quick.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You should have
Not as
read
good as
that.
you read that
right at the
song.
Beginning, we would have known.
Yeah, we've done that deal.
All right, comments from the audience? Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way the city can get them to put the remotes on our doors? It's supposed to be a handicapped building. It's not, you can't get it out the door.
Have you went to your manager?
They said they're not gonna put one on there. And the architect told us what they was gonna do, they was gonna put them on there, remotes on all the doors. Those doors are so heavy going to the elevator, you can't push them open.
Was that spelled out when they bid it? Yeah, that'd be the only way I would say. You'd have any recourse. So I'm not sure, is Mr. Seymour part of that?
Yes.
You can read that, Mr. Kime?
See, it used to be a carpet on the elevator room, and the door, they could put a block, like a brick or anything, and hold the door. Now they got a wooden floor there, the door just slides right across there,
Well, they have not come to us for final payment.
and nobody can hold the door.
What we can do is ask when they come for us, to us for final payment, Lee, is if they've done that or were they required to do that. Now, I have no idea what kind of an answer we're gonna get, or, you know, that's not, we didn't have the agreement with them on the renovations. All we did was contribute to the,
The architect
amount.
was there, they said, we're gonna put remotes on all the doors too, well, they said now they're not going to.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was promised or not.
Yeah, and I don't know the compliance issues from HUD with so many units when you have to be compliant with ADA. But I mean, you can get on ADA.gov and contact them in regards to compliance, and if it is something that would be, I mean, obviously to be accessible typically,
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a courtesy that you have, you know, the push button remotes that open the doors, but it might actually be a code compliance issue
requirement.
for American Disability Act. So that's the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division.
People with those
So.
scooters or military, don't they?
Yeah.
They have to take their foot and then push it, and when they hit, oh, the door hits their chair and it scratches the door, then they raise heck because they scratch the door, then, you know, what else can they do, you know? So where they get in down there?
Don't know why they wouldn't have put those on there either, to be honest with you, Lee. All we can do is question them.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Like at one place, it was on a handicapped building where the people can't get in and out the door area, which is true.
That's right.
That's a good point. Well, I'm sure they're gonna be coming to us soon for that final payment because the project's about done if it's not done. So, okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Question?
Anyone else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second, Mayor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Here, here.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Go Tigers.